Welcome to the ABAKiS video series. This series is designed to help you become more familiar with using the ABAKiS program. Welcome to a tour of ABAKiS. When you first log into ABAKiS with your email, you'll log in here, you'll add your password down in here, and you'll click sign in. So this is what our ABAKiS homepage looks like. On the left-hand side is all your menu options. You'll see the home. This is a summary of your learning modules. In this case, we have 3 in here. At the bottom here is your behavior summary. It shows the name of your behavior plan and the last entry for each one of these plans. This just makes it very quick and easy to jump in and start using ABAKiS. Please keep in mind that the copy of ABAKiS that you will receive from us will be a blank one. This is a very quick tour to show you what it looks like once it's filled in and how to briefly fill that in. So on the left-hand side, we have the house icon, which is your home button, the molecule, which is your learning modules, the calendar and clock, which are your session logs, the stack of books, which is your behavior options, the stack of papers we call behavior plans, the flame that is your behavior hot list, and the power button, which is also your logout. So let's start by going into our learning modules. So the person on your team who will be the one entering your learning modules will be your BCBA or your BA. Not every single person on your team is going to have the power to do every single function found in ABAKiS. So in this case, this option just belongs to your BCBA or BA. So in here we have 3 different learning modules. So let's just check out descriptive language 2. Contained within your first learning module, and of course yours will be different than ours, yours will be customized to you, we have our targets. So in here are all the different targets that have been entered in for this particular learning module. The second will be the status that shows if it's new or active. Next is when the last entry was made. And then up here you're going to have the ability to enter in how many correct responses, how many prompted responses, how many incorrect responses, how many no responses, and then percentage of correct responses. Once your BCBA has entered all these things, they will either hit the plus button to save it, or it's within their power to go back in and hit the pencil icon to correct it, change it, add, and/or take away. ABAKiS overall has 3 different components that ABAKiS is broken down into. We have team communication, we have learning modules, and we have behaviors. We've already looked at our learning modules now, so let's move into our next and perhaps most used function in ABAKiS, which is your team communication. In this case, our team communication is going to be shown by your session logs. Session logs are entered by anyone who's having a direct session with your child, whether it is their interventionalist, whether it's their behaviorists. It can be you having a one-on-one session with your child in the home, or it can also be your teacher at school. Why having your teacher involved in the session logs is so fantastic is simply put this. Normally you have a communication journal, book, or binder that goes back and forth on a daily basis between you and the teacher. This way you can eliminate that book completely. You can eliminate any miscommunications, missed pages. At the teacher's convenience, he or she can just simply go into ABAKiS, go into the session log. That day at school will be considered a session, and he or she can enter all the information, hit enter, and everyone on your team has instant access to that information. So in this case, we're going to look at how do we enter that information. Right here is our date box. There's 2 ways to enter a date. You can either click on it, and it will give you perhaps today's date, or you can add in historical data by simply back-clicking through the months, or you can hand enter in the information just by clicking in here and adding in whatever and however you want to designate it. In this case, I'm going to click on today's date. The next function in here is your users. So when you click on the users, you're going to see everybody who is on your team, your child's team. You can either just have their name, or you can have their name and their function within your team. So in this case, let's click on Carrie Ann. So now this means that it's Carrie Ann who's having today's session with your child. You can have several sessions in one day with your child, and as we all know, that's very typical. But we're just going to go from the point of view of having one single session. So now that we've entered Carrie Ann, we're going to go into the notes. And you can enter whatever notes happened during that day. It can happen in real time, so it can be real-time observation, or you can enter it afterwards. So we're going to say that he had a great session today. He used the new cards for the name game. We hit the plus icon, and boom, there we have it. So now your new session note is reflected right here. So now that we understand how session notes are created and our session logs, let's go check out our behavior options and our behavior plans. So one cannot function without the other. So in order for our behavior plan to work, we first have to go into behavior options. And this allows us to enter all of our behaviors. So in this case, it gives you a spot down here to enter your antecedents, your behaviors, and your consequences. Going across this way, the antecedent does not have to be related directly to the behavior, does not have to be directed to the consequence. If you have 50 antecedents, you have 25 behaviors, and you have 6 consequences, just enter them all in. You can enter them in as you go along. You can enter them in as new ones crop up. While you're in session with your child, you may find a brand new behavior that wasn't there before. You can absolutely add that into your behavior. Why we need this is for our behavior plans. So your behavior plans look very much like this, and we have ones that are completely filled in for you to see. So your title would enter here. Our examples are compliance, de-escalation, phony laugh. So you would add your title in here. Your behavior would come from the drop-down menu of the behaviors you had added in before. You add a description of the behavior. You add in this section here your preventative plan. There's some examples of preventative plans right here. In this box, you'll add in your reactive plan. Again, we have examples down here of some of your reactive plans. This box here is where your antecedent would go. And finally, this drop box here would be where your consequence would come in. You would then hit enter, and your new behavior plan would be assembled. Down here is our behavior hot list. Why this hot list is so great is that you can enter brand new observations of behaviors on the fly. So if you're in the middle of a session with your child and you happen to notice that they're engaging in phony laugh twice during that session, you could add it in. Perhaps they did self-talk or singing. You just add those in. You hit done, and they're recorded for you to bring up at a later date. And that's it. And it really is that simple. Thank you so much for watching this overview and tour video of ABAKiS. We will have other videos up soon that will give you a more in-depth exploration on how to enter all of your different areas. Thanks so very much.